Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're doing something absolutely incredible. We are literally geeking out over a 90-second, high-graphics, cinematic masterpiece. We're breaking down a pitch-perfect, hyper-realistic script for a Spiderman Brand New Day trailer. If you've ever wondered how high-end studios take words on a page and turn them into jaw-dropping, photoreal 3D animation, well, you are definitely in the right place.
Okay, let's dive right into this, because there's a massive question staring down the director here. How exactly do you design the ultimate hyper-realistic superhero trailer in just 90 seconds? What we're about to explore is honestly a masterclass in modern CGI storytelling. Every single frame, every second of screen time is meticulously calculated to push those graphics engines to the limit and maximize the narrative impact.
So, let's kick things off with Section 1, the hyper-realistic vision.
Right out of the gate, the directorial vision establishes a very specific baseline. The quote is, "Photoreal CGI like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse meets live action." The director actually calls this the style spine of the project. It sets the absolute visual standard for the entire thing, a 16:9 cinematic aspect ratio, natively outputting in glorious 1080p. They aren't going for that standard cartoony look. No, they want hyper-rendered depth. It's all about taking that stylized aesthetic of modern 3D animation and injecting it with the heavy, tangible grit of a live-action film.
And what makes this style spine work so incredibly well is the contrast. Think about it. On one hand, you have this very gritty narrative tone. We're dealing with Peter Parker post One More Day. He's single, he's just exhausted, walking down a rainy alley in civilian clothes to face a grounded, street-level threat like Mr. Negative. But then, on the other hand, you have the high-end visual output. We're talking explosive, hyper-rendered CGI paired with crazy dynamic camera work. That contrast, that is the secret sauce. The grounded emotional tone anchors the physics-defying graphics, making the impossible literally feel real to us.
Moving right along to Section 2, lighting the concrete jungle. Picture this, opening establishing shot. An aerial dolly pushes down on the New York City skyline. It's pitch black out. The rain is just pouring. Thunder cracks. The title card fades in as we descend into this rain-slicked city. Now, why specify a rainy night? Because it instantly gives the 3D rendering engine thousands of glossy surfaces to reflect light off of. We're talking puddles, wet brick, slick spandex. It gives the engine countless points of light to compute, which, yeah, probably makes the graphics card scream for mercy. But it's an incredibly calculated choice designed to flex exactly what high-end graphics engines are built for.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how they use volumetric lighting to sell that realism. If you're not familiar, volumetric lighting is a 3D graphics technique that actually lets you see beams of light physically shining through an environment. Think of a street lamp cutting through thick, rainy mist. The script uses this perfectly at the 22-second mark during a handheld point-of-view swing. We're looking through Peter's mask, rooftops are streaking by, and thanks to this lighting technique, the city's neon signs realistically reflect right off his actual webs as he swings. It completely grounds the web physics in the environment. It's just insanely immersive.
Let's zoom in a bit for Section 3, micro details and visual effects.
To really pull off these visual tricks, the script uses a specific camera direction called a macro track. Basically, it's a camera movement that tracks an extreme close-up of a subject to magnify the tiniest micro details. At exactly 1 minute and 2 seconds into the trailer, they call for a macro track insert shot of Spider-Man's webs. We aren't just seeing a web holding Mr. Negative to a lamppost from afar. No, we see the individual web strands visibly straining under the pressure, complete with little beads of rain glistening right on the tension points. That is a level of physical detail that demands absolutely top-tier rendering.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how far they push the hyper-realistic VFX. In just a few rapid-fire seconds, we get a locked close-up of Peter's eyes sharpening, highlighting the glowing veins of a Spider-Sense pulse. We see Mr. Negative's corrupted suit physically emitting these dark energy tendrils. We get those straining, rain-beaded webs. And when Negative breaks free, there's this intense inner light that actually corrupts the concrete street as pedestrians scatter. These aren't just background elements, you know? They are sensory micro-details deliberately engineered to trick our brains into seeing reality.
All right, ramping things up for Section 4, hyperfluid action and physics.
The sequence between the 40 and 55-second marks is just the perfect showcase of this. It's a rapid-fire action montage mapped out step by step. First, a web-sip dodge away from danger. Second, a blistering punch combo. Third, an energy blast counter. And fourth, a wide orbit shot where Spidey flips over a car and webs the enemy to a lamppost. The script specifically notes the use of varied handheld cameras here.
This is huge because a shaky handheld virtual camera makes the highly choreographed, lightning-fast 3D animation feel raw, unpredictable, and incredibly fast.
But why does that specific direction matter so much? Well, as the script states, it requires hyper-detailed web physics to power hyper-fluid fights. It's not enough for the animation to just look fast. In a hyper-realistic engine, it has to be mathematically calculated. The physics engine actually assigns realistic mass and momentum to these characters. So when Spider-Man does a web zip, the trajectory, the tension on the line, the heavy landing, it all has to carry literal weight. That dedication to hyper-detailed physics is what gives actual consequence to every single punch and dodge on screen.
Bringing it all together in Section 5, the cinematic edit.
So the crucial point in post-production is this mathematical editing philosophy, 2x. The director explicitly notes that each cut needs to double the contrast in both size and motion. It's such a brilliant concept. If you're looking at a slow, tight close-up, the very next cut has to be a fast, wide action shot. Every time the camera cuts, the visual contrast, meaning the size of the subject and the speed of the motion, literally multiplies by 2. This is precisely how they build that unstoppable, visceral sense of cinematic momentum in under 2 minutes.
You can actually map this momentum out right here. Look at 15 seconds. We get a whip pan for the very first web sling, making the buildings violently blur past. Fast forward to 1 minute 18 seconds, and the editing kicks into overdrive, with rapid cuts, flashing teasers of a menace silhouette, MJ, and Aunt May. Then at 1 minute 25 seconds, all that built-up kinetic energy resolves into this massive, epic crane-up shot. The camera literally soars upward as Spidey swings into a colossal storm, his silhouette lit up by lightning strikes. The pacing perfectly escalates from street-level blur to sky-high epic framing.
And all of that brings us to the final build, which is just designed to leave the audience completely breathless. We're talking rapid flashes of suit upgrades, a Hans Zimmer-style orchestral score hitting an absolute fever pitch, Spidey swinging directly into the storm, and then bam, a static burn title card drops reading Spider-Man Brand New Day, punctuated by a massive earth-shaking thunderclap, followed by the ultimate payoff, Summer 2025. It's an auditory and visual crescendo engineered from the ground up to leave blockbuster fans begging for more.
So what does this all mean? It leaves us with this really fascinating question. When high-end graphics and animation can perfectly mimic the grit, the lighting, and the physics of reality, does it actually become the ultimate way to experience a comic book story? This script kind of proves that with the right direction, CGI can do things live action simply can't, while still feeling 100% real. Anyway, thank you so much for diving into the anatomy of this hyper-realistic sequence with me. Keep analyzing, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.